Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in to hang out for a bit. I hope you're doing well. And welcome to MechWarrior 5 Clans, Wolves of Tukayyid, DLC, story-driven campaign playthrough. This is where we're going to check out all the cutscenes as they happen, listen to all the banter pre-mission and during the mission, and discuss things going on in the mission itself, as well as lore surrounding everything going on as well, and just in general appreciate this latest installment from MechWarrior 5 Clans. We're on Tukayyid, so let's press our attack and secure our objectives. Strap in, and let's go to work. Alright, we are pressing towards our objective, of course. We can see the red terrain area is Comguard stuff, more or less. We have Scupo and Burzo here, and we are approaching our first objective of Scupo. And we get a nice little showcase of like movements of enemy and allied troops and a little blurb of what's going on in the plains or our supply lines. And of course, a little key for points of interest so you know what you're looking at. Just really good stuff.
So, where do we currently stand?
The techs are still not finished taking inventory of what the Comguards have stored in here. But we have come across a good deal of ammo.
Good. I do not know how compatible their stores are with our weapons, but it at least takes them off the board.
Wolf Orbital Watch just sent me a data file that shows Presenter Koivu has dispatched the 282nd Unit against us.
I studied their scouting report. They are one of their sharpest swords.
That is not saying much given how green the Comguards are.
Do not underestimate Vogt. If our theories on his real identity are true, then he is someone that is well aware of what his men are capable of achieving. And in case you've forgotten, these green Comguards have already sent the Jaguars packing.
Do we know the size of the force coming to try and retake it?
I thought you could help with that, Phelan.
No luck from above?
The heavy clouds are scattering their sensors, and they are also busy covering our supply lines.
You want me to lead a scouting trinary for a stroll in the fog?
My elementals can assist. The fog works to our advantage.
Then it looks like we have a recon force. Phelan, you will range out into the fog here, where my last movement report has this Comguard division arriving by the time you reach it. Try and get in close enough range to read numbers, but get out before they can get in your faces.
Make them chase us?
We know how that ends. Once the Comguards spot them, they will fade back into the fog and trees. And they will force you to fire at shadows.
Not if we close in fast and hit them. Use speed against them for once. Konkurensky, once Phelan and Olin draw the Comguards out, the rest of us can advance in from here and make sure retreat is not an option for them.
Great. We have our game plan. Now let's get to it. We are on the clock. Our job is to cut through this force and continue our thrust to Scupo.
We have our objective. We are going to bludgeon the 282nd. I enjoy the little Easter egg lore stuff in that mission briefing. Marshal Vogt and his, true identity and what they suspect it to be. They don't go full out and say it, but if you know, you know, and that's pretty cool. They bring up the capabilities of the Comguard, and that, one of the things that the clans have been saying this entire time is that the Comguard are green. But the Comguard are fresh, the Comguard have large forces, and the Comguard have the best tech the Innisphere can throw at the clans. And also, while they may be green in that they are not combat tested for, necessarily in the same way that the clans definitely are and the Great House forces were, they are very well trained still. And bringing up the Smoke Jaguars is kind of to reiterate that fact, right? An extremely powerful clan. Granted, it landed first with the smallest force, has already been dealt with by the Comguard, and so to underestimate them is folly, more or less. Now, the thing about clans is that they are definitely superior forces to the Comguard, but we have another case of severe numbers and the way clans fight. So before we get into the mission proper, as we just dealt with a cicada, which isn't saying much, but hey, it's still a cicada, is that the clans, I'm a huge clan fan, have been from the beginning. But one of the things that's very obvious is that in terms of the setting and the lore, is that they needed to set up the clans in such a capacity that they could lose, because they're just so technologically advanced and equipment advanced, and for this, not just mechs, but their medical and their training is superior and everything else. So those were some SRM carriers, BT dubs, as they say. Whenever you see missile carriers, definitely see if they're SRM or not. If they are SRM, deal with them ASAP. Unlike the LRM carriers, the SRM missile carriers can actually maul your mech in one fell swoop if they hit, because they tend to be a whole lot of SRMs, and they're going to be grouped up and fire in one particular area of your mech. You can have an arm and get ripped right off if you're not careful, so focus fire SRMs for sure. On top of that, we have mechs assets, we've had air assets. We're already dealing with a decent force against us in the mountains. Now, my star is comprised of 2 Ice Ferrets and 3 Vipers. At this point, I definitely would have had a Stormcrow, or I had a Stormcrow in the first playthrough, which was a nice little force multiplier for the star. At this juncture, with the custom build and whatever else, not that we are severely lacking, but it is a noticeable difference. Like, this Blackjack would have been dealt with by me personally much faster if I had that Stormcrow. We also have a good showcase of 2 things: things constantly getting towards the mission boundary, and my star not fighting because the elemental point is swarming. So if you see that happening and you really need them to shoot at it, just order the elemental point to go somewhere else. One thing about this campaign, the DLC for Clan Wolf, that I've noticed more so than in the other campaigns we've had so far, is the mission boundaries tend to be kind of close to your operational area, and the enemy and your allies will definitely run through it, but you can't. So prioritize long range, be aware. I'm going to get to him right up to the mission boundary. Luckily, it tells you very clearly that you're approaching it, so you have time to back away, but it's just going to happen more so in this DLC than I think the others. More mines to hack and deal with. So we do typically get an audio cue for going into scan mode and looking, but not always. In this mission we did, but we've had a mission in the past where we didn't. So every so often, give scan mode a check, because the last thing you want to do is step on some mines. So here we are in another kind of, I want to say, mountaintop kill zone in a way. The nice thing about this mission, if you make a spicier build at this time, is that there is plenty of water around for a lot of it. So you're going to be able to kind of quench your mech a bit and go a little bit more crazy with your firepower if your build tends to be a little hot. But in the case of the Ice Ferret, the way I have it set up, it's a pretty heat efficient build for the most part. You have to spam it a lot to overheat. The Vipers are going to be hit or miss with that, but they have a lot of firepower at their disposal. The Viper is pound for pound one of the more workhorse style mechs you're going to have in your star in any campaign. You can be somewhat surprised how long they'll last in your star. They can be, especially for custom builds, I should say, because they can be given really good protection and really decent DPS style damage with a bunch of air small lasers. In any case, the Phoenix Hawk here has some ECM jamming happening, so if that really gets on your nerves and you don't have an active probe on your mech or whatever, just prioritize taking down Phoenix Hawks. Phoenix Hawks and Griffins have them, and I just ran right into that mech and took it out. Apparently, it was hurt enough that I could do that. I wasn't expecting to do that, but hey, bonus. But yeah, Griffins, certain Phoenix Hawks, they're gonna have ECM jamming potential, so be aware. And here's the out of bounds. I wasn't really paying attention to my sensors. I was just making a beeline towards where I knew the next area was. Plus, you could kind of see stuff in the distance, and I got right up to that mission barrier. In this case, not a big deal, but just be aware of your movement. There you go. These machines are still considered to be antique by clan standards, even though they have some of the best tech in the inner sphere. Here we have air assets, and here we have electricity throughout the water. If you shoot it, it goes away. Just be aware of that. It's very obvious. You know, just like in any game, you see a bunch of electricity arcing around. You don't want to get near it. Same thing here. Blow it up, and you're just fine. It's in this area that you'll get two things. You'll get an ammo crate, and you'll get the ability to scan for resources. A supply cache, which is nice. So if you have a bit more of an ammo-centric style or builds with you, the ammo crates can be quite nice. I scanned it right away. Depending upon how you're doing, you might want to save that until you have to kind of maneuver on and then scan it if you are okay ammo-wise up to that point. We do have artillery. So if you want to make use of it, definitely go for it. It's free damage. I've said it before. I said it again. So you don't feel like you need to make use of it, and you shouldn't rely on it, but it is there. So definitely don't forget if you can. I think I am very bad about forgetting things like that. So don't be like me. Be better. So again, more water, but the enemy tends to be there when you are making progress, so either maneuver into the water or just be okay out of it. As you can see, it's not like it's absolutely necessary. This is going to be a case of kind of attrition. So what you shouldn't be doing is what I am doing, which is going off on my own for one-on-one fighting while my star deals with the other stuff. Especially if you are doing a little worse for wear armor-wise, we definitely want to be careful because there's plenty of targets to have to take down, especially multiple Igors and the like, so we don't want to be too reckless with how damaged our mechs are whenever we can help it. Obviously, you're getting shot at, you can't help it, truly, but less recklessness the better. That's I guess, the key. So it's important to note that we are following the lore of BattleTech's universe, right? Of course, it's what MechWarrior, all of BattleTech style video games are based on. But while we are following it, and while I would label this mission as perhaps, well, not this mission, this campaign as perhaps the most lore-centric of the campaigns, and that's saying something because they're all doing a great job with that. Not every mission is going to be something you can pull out of a source book or a novel or whatever, right? It's a video game. They're going to video gamify stuff, flesh things out, give us missions, and not everything's going to be a true correlation. And that's true for any campaign or any game based on a setting, not just MechWarrior 5 Clans or Tukayyid. But I just wanted to bring that up because if you're wondering what this references in terms of lore, well, it's just our push to Scupo, right? There is lore about that push and how things are going, and this is definitely inspired by lore events, but it's not like it's a cut and paste style of thing going on. It's a video game. Things get video gamified. Is to be expected. Nothing wrong with that. I just sometimes people get caught up in the idea of, well, where is this in the lore? And it's like, well, this specific thing we're doing at this moment is inspired by these events in the lore, but it's not this particular mission per se. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I did say that I do think that the Wolves of Tukayyid is the most lore-centric of the campaigns, and they're all done a great job with it. Smoke Jaguar's campaign, this one that we get with the launch of when the game launched, the base campaign, full of lore, full of nods, a very nice kind of crash course tutorial style to get your feet somewhat planted in clan lore and BattleTech lore about Operation Revival and all that. We get some name drops, we get to see some named characters, but it's a little bit conservative in that realm. Then we saw Flashstorm DLC, a bit more comfortable with that, a bit more name drops, a bit more going on in regards to Easter egg stuff, and then and then we get to this where we have name drops and Easter eggs everywhere, just about, right? We are a named star, and lore, an actual star that exists in the lore. We have a lot more characters that are from the lore and not things necessarily put alongside us that may or may not exist, right? I mean, Cordero Perez and all of them existed, but it's just we have a lot more going on. So you saw a failed artillery strike. I tried to use it. I was having issues in targeting, and I ended up targeting a bit too close or too short of a distance, and they were not within the firing range of it. Truly, a little bit of damage, but not a lot. So, you know, it's one of those cases where you definitely don't want to rely on it. I was hoping that maybe I could maul this battle master. It did not work. So now I'm trying to just protect my leg a little bit because it's definitely taking some damage. And there's a marauder, so we gotta be careful. But it's to be expected. And honestly, not the end of the world. We I think we hit it a little bit, but at the end of the day, we have the technology, we have the training, we have the firepower, so we already dropped that battle master. We can hurt the things. It's just that I was trying to be savvy and tactical, and again, it didn't work. So maybe you'll have more luck in this mission with the artillery strike. But yeah, we have a lot more kind of name drops in this campaign than in others. Like Cordera Perez and Emily Wimmer and Sakan Weaver and all that are all actual characters. And then there's some other characters here and there we see pop up, but that's about it. And then a little bit more in Flash Storm as PGI seems to be more comfortable with it, I guess. And then this, of course, our full star, different officers, Phelan, Ilkan Kerensky, bringing up Marshall Fox more and whatnot. Just a lot more actual name drops. Runic wasn't very pleased that we are going to let them run away, but the whole idea is just to punch through and get to Scupo. We got to remember our objectives. That's the name of the game, is to be victorious. A fun mission, pretty simple, effective, smash the enemies to bits style of mission, attritional style, so if you're less reckless than I am, you'll have a lot better armor coming off of that, especially if you haven't been upgrading your mech bay a little bit. I have been. And finally, we gain access to some firepower in the form of the linebacker. So that's pretty cool. One of the new mechs from the for the DLC. So definitely gonna be making use of that. In any case, before I sign off here, I just want to say, if you are checking this out, thanks so much for stopping by. Definitely share your thoughts. Share how the campaign's going for you. And thanks so much for taking the time out every day to hang out for a little bit. Until next time, take care.